writing in the newspapers. I have written for most of the economic dailies like Economic Times, Business Standard, Business Line, Hindu, several other papers. And the blog's idea was actually given to me by my daughter. And I had collected all the articles till then existing, about maybe 50-60, and posted it and started the blog. I look after a variety of functions, which also includes strategy, overseas partnerships, and development of plantation, etc. And the job by its very nature takes me to very remote areas. And when you're on tour, not the full time is occupied, so you do get some spare time. I do take the time out to meet people, talk to them, be it the farmers, tribals, policemen, security guards, or anybody, or visiting posts, or maybe some government officials, or man on the street, chai vendor, or anybody. That gives you a lot of perspective, a lot of insights into how people live their life, how the official policies and official programs, etc., do not really cater to their needs or requirements. So that's how this word unconventional comes from. So I share it as is varies basis. I don't try to derive any conclusions out of it. I won't analyze or some such thing. I think it's a question of what the society needs and whether we can meet it through making a market out of it. And in that sense, I think there's a lot of potential areas are there in India. India has 13 or 15 judges per million population. As against a recommended 117 by a 1988 Law Commission report. The world average is 130. Justice is something what all of us are longing for. It takes forever, 17 years, 20 years even to get a civil suit to this one. Can we not recover the need for justice and make it pay for the more number of judges, courts, and all the infrastructure, etc. Like waste is another matter. Most of the rivers are so polluted. But can we not make the polluter pay for it, and we have better quality rivers so it can be used for navigation or even potable water or any other use? 4 to 5% of the GNP can be from this waste handling only. And it can provide employment to at least about 1 crore or 2 of people. Yes, this rack pickers, etc. community is just 0.1%. In South Africa, in Peru, it's about 0.7%. In many other countries, the people who are involved in handling it is about 0.3 to 0.6%, even with the higher degree of mechanization. Suppose I will say, I will close the loop. People are creating the problem, we have to solve it. I will definitely create employment for at least 1% of the population, and that can be at the lowest level. People who are illiterate, who have nothing else to do, can be there. And of course, I had suggested a couple of other things also in the book: textiles and tourism. Tourism, India has a great advantage. It has a great image outside. If you see the rankings of various parameters this World Economic Forum publishes, it has it has very good rankings on some of them. Key one, the air connectivity or money connectivity, all those things. It has 17, 19 kind of ranks. Some of them, of course, is very this one like visa requirements is 136 or some sort of thing. So the overall combined rating of 92 or something. Cambodia, which is 1/10, 100th our economy in terms of size, GDP, etc., gets nearly 33 times on a relative basis number of tourists. Egypt, which is a tiny country, has more foreign tourist arrival receipts than India. Cambodia, the entire thing which is available for viewing there in the whole country, like Siem Reap, Taprom, or Shivling, river, 1,000 lingas on riverbed, or all these Buddhist temples, can be all packed into South Delhi. That's how much they have. But the way they present, the way the tourist guides take you through, cleanliness, the reception to the tourists, it's all so good that it becomes, everybody who visits Cambodia becomes an ambassador. So he recommends it to other people, they keep coming. So tourism and textiles, India has somehow lost its way. They got its policies very wrong. Vietnam, which was nowhere, hardly about $1 billion or two, about 2006 or 7, is about $25 billion industry. It's all come from India's expense, but India has hardly grown. China has gone from 130 to 250. Bangladesh from nowhere to about 22, 23. If we had gone at the average pace at which these three guys have grown, our textiles export should have been 100 billion from 20 to 23 billion. This 70-80 billion dollar additional would have given employment to something like 4 to 5 crore people. The base here also has to be chosen properly. You need to move on. You cannot be having a 33 index and 73 index or something. The profile of consumption keeps improving, evolving. We have more services consumption rather than product consumption and so on. So the base here needs to be revised, and you need to be very careful about the choice of base year. Forex, most of the calculations people are doing it on 2010 basis, which I feel is very inappropriate. In the aftermath of 2008, world went down. 2010, India itself was having a very high agricultural inflation, 20% or something, and our CAD and all those kinds of things are out of whack. The best period in the last 10-12 years I find is 2005.
Okay.
Immediately after the previous NDA regime, many of the parameters were in control. I think we had a positive CAD, fiscal was very much under control, government finances were proper, inflation was and all that. So that could be one basis. And likewise, as you move on, you have to pick that year which is representative, relatively calm, when most of your ratios are in under control. That's the kind of year you have to pick. And I would think it is a continuous exercise. There's nothing to be peeved about, and especially if you are talking about GDP. GDP is not like an accounting done in a company. It doesn't capture all the transaction. It is calculated based on some samples. The previous sample was based only on organized sectors, information given. In the organized sector also only a select set. But here the current system of calculation has moved ahead, because unorganized sector contributes only 53% for GDP. So to leave that out completely was a misnomer. I think the sample set has been exploded very much. So it is in that sense much more representative today, GDP calculations. Even if you don't believe, there are numbers, you can always have it audited, but that's the way it is. Maybe the previous set of numbers were underreported, this one fine. But I think we'll have to move on, and slowly maybe GST, once government has registered even all the unregistered people, can lead to a better GDP number in my opinion. If they drop, they will have the database to assess what is the value addition at various stages. Plus they can have their own estimate of what is not covered in the GST. One thing, the world trade or openness is slowly now reversing. US, etc., which led this one. So long as they were getting additional markets, they were expanding. But now that the services, see, all the physical needs have been taken care of now. Most of this one, apart from maybe the poorer regions. So more and more of services consumption is going to take place. Their manpower has an edge, and there, US is, obvious lack of strength started coming out. So now they are slowly contracting. Most of the, like Australia, Singapore, they've all stated, now we don't want Indian software guys or something. Everybody is going to a retractive mode, which is bad in one sense, but good in one sense, that India also plays the game properly, that it can also protect its markets for manufacturing and grow on the strength of it. Second is the Euro region is still a question mark whether it will survive or not or something. If it breaks up, countries like Italy, Spain, Greece, etc., they will adjust the currency in such a way that they will be able to grow faster and get rid of the near 30-40% unemployment rates. That will definitely boost their economy, and it will be much less of a problem. and this will take its own time to pan out. I don't know how much time to pan out. Second factor I read is people will increasingly start using currency as a competitive mechanism. They will adjust currency values. Already Brazil, Indonesia, they are all masters at it. China has been more responsible in doing it, but they will increasingly use currency as a trade mechanism to fight trade wars, which is bad because currency can cause steep inflations or deflations within your country. It depends. It's a relative game. If you play the game, the other guy can be smarter and inflict more pain on you. That will be a definite negative in my opinion. Technology that will definitely make an impact is finance. At the end of the day, is record keeping. You have this SAPs and JD Edwards and any other ERPs can throw you all the numbers that you are looking for. What will be of use is the next gen analysis of those numbers. I think most of the analysis are outside the accounting. This one. Analytics of hard data collected from the customers, from the suppliers, from the marketplace, which do not fit into the accounting time frame is going to be way forward. I think big data, analytics, off-site supervision. I don't know to monitor my computer sitting here. I can be thousands of kilometers away, but I can still know what is happening in this machine. Predictive analysis. You have sufficient quantity of data of when the machines are going to fail. I mean, you don't have to suffer a heart attack and find that you have suffered a heart attack. There will be some predictive mechanisms to say, okay, another 10 days, 15 days, you're in trouble. So how do I get to that, and how do I warn the people who are going to suffer or matters which are going to happen and prevent it? There will be a lot of things which are going to happen in that direction. The next, of course, is a cloud solution. We have been investing heavily in hardware, but I think clouding of most of these information, etc. as well. Basically, big data, as I said, predictive analytics, not the analytics of the past or something. If somebody else has bought the machine and used it, and he has collected history, so can I use the same data to see if I am passing through the same phase? These are the kind of consequences that are going to follow. So that kind of analytics is going to happen. These are the two things I think will have impact in my opinion. Of course, digitization has, India is in the forefront of digitization. In fact, India is way ahead of even US and Europe in that sense. That is going to help. See, demonetization, I don't have that much of positive opinion about it. Two things needed to be cleared. Yes, the black money component had to be trapped, which I don't know government has actually succeeded. Two, all the counterfeiting of notes had to be stopped. I don't know whether that has happened either. So, in effect, I think it seems to be an innocuous exercise for which we paid a huge premium. But it only sent the right message to the people that the government is serious about and tackling this one, and for that we are signaling that, and people were prepared to pay the price. So people at the junior most level, poverty stricken, etc., they were all willing to pay the price. About GST, I am very positive. I think it is a needed step. It will have a long-term impact. It will bring more people into the formal fold, lead to better inclusive economy, social inclusion, industrial activity inclusion, and slowly extend the formal systems on right into the rural household and villages and farms. Today what happens is the farm sector is producing something, let's say, which is of much higher value to the industrial sector or the urban people, but bulk of the value addition, so to say, or the differential in values given by him and paid for by the urban is taken away by unstructured markets. or middlemen or lack of systems. So if the formal systems percolate this into rural households' income will definitely increase. The margins of the channel will come down drastically. That is a great step. Secondly, the tax burden which was falling on a very select few people will widen. And people will get to realize that if you have a government, you have to pay for it. And if you have to pay for it, you have to demand proper services. That is a good sign. The person who is receiving everything for free is not going to be as responsible in using it as a person who is going to be paying for it. So in that sense, it's going to be far better.